Come on up. At least most of you come on up. That way people don't interrupt when they sneak in, but we're not going to pack the house today. And really, this is a good time to take advantage of it because we'll be able to answer some of your questions. But this is also a good reminder to bring your friends next month because we don't do these things for fun. We do these things for you guys. And so in the end of the day, obviously you guys are the ones that are here. So I appreciate that. But how many of you guys have been here before? Raise your hand. So we've been doing this thing once a month this is like our 80th session, I believe. 80 something like that. 79th. I think it's the 79th session. Anyway, we started this in 2018, and the whole idea was to bring together the best of the best in Central Florida real estate without an ulterior motive or agenda. So, there were other places you could learn, but everybody was trying to pitch you on their brokerage or sell you something or sell you their coaching program or get you to use them for whatever service they provided, right? And we realized as real producers, we don't have anything to sell to agents. Those of you that don't know us, we make a magazine that ranks the top 500 agents in Greater Orlando, and we're also in 125 markets nationwide. So each and every month, we're pulling actual data based off sales volume, and each and every year, we're ranking those agents, and then throughout the year, we tell the stories of the agents that ranked in the top 50. Now we're closer to 100 because we're 105 editions in. But can we give a quick shout out to all our partners? Give them a round of applause. Everyone that supports this thing. We've got about 90 advertising partners, but we do have a couple spaces. So if you know somebody that does something that helps your real estate business, send them our way. And if you meet someone here today that sells insurance or does title or does mortgages or inspections or photography or something, they're not here by accident. They're here because they're referred by one of the top agents in the city, by someone in the top 5%. They're vouched for, and they support this platform long term. So they support us ranking and giving badges and hosting awards and doing masterclasses and stuff like that. But long story short, we used to run these events, and we'd throw these big parties quarterly, and we'd have these awesome parties, and all the top agents would come, and people would see it on social and be like, dude, why didn't I get invited? How do I get an invite? And we'd be like, oh, just sell more next year. And that didn't feel good. So what we decided to do was put the agents that are ranking at the very top of the real estate world on a stage once a month to teach what they're doing without any ulterior motives. So that's the concept. We're not affiliated with any board or brokerage. We have nothing to sell you, nothing to pitch you. I'm not licensed. Like, I could talk about commissions. You guys just can't. That's a joke, by the way. But you guys get what I'm saying? So the idea is just to bring together the best of the best. And so one thing you could do to help us, how many of you have ever learned something that helped your business at a masterclass? Raise your hand. All right, so the best thing that you guys that raise your hands could do is just bring an agent or two with you next month. Tell an agent or two, share a flyer or two, because each and every month it gets a little bit harder for us to do the 81st session, the 82nd session, the 83rd session, and continue to bring you different variations of different things. But what's pretty cool is I think 80 sessions in, we've done a pretty good job of bringing you different speakers. Would y'all agree? And so today is a really cool concept, and it's a really tough month. Just back to school to get everyone out here. But transparently, I think this is probably one of the best groups of agents we've ever had on this stage, whether you guys all realize it or not. It's easy to fill what I call the Instagram agents on the stage, but it's a lot harder to fill the people that have just been doing it day in and day out for decades and decades and decades at such high levels that some of you don't pay enough attention to the rankings to know these people. You can probably see their signs around the city, but you also what you can't see is how much business they do off market. Some of these people do more off market than you've ever sold on market, while also doing double, triple, quadruple all the other agents in the city on market. It's pretty crazy. And some of these people are also doing, we'll ask them about it, but they're making they're probably doubling their margins or quadrupling or tripling or whatever when they're doing GC work and renovations and remodeling. So we've got 4 people that not only sell at the very, very, very highest level, but they also are part of the remodeling process. So they aren't just selling homes, they're pitching homes that aren't even looking like the person's buying them for yet. And I think that's a pretty cool concept because we're so used to selling the inventory that exists. We're not used to selling the inventory that exists as the inventory it could be. Does that make sense? If y'all are following me, nod your heads. All right, just making sure I'm not rambling about nothing. So anyway, we have a handful of partners that stepped up to make today happen, and hopefully we'll shout them all out. I'll try to name them all, but since some of them aren't here, I'll probably skip some. But I know we got to give a shout out to Devore Design because they brought the coffee and Christy's sick. So we're going to give them a 1, 2, 3 clap on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. And then eventually I'll try to get the rest. I know Blue Haven Pools is another one. But since these guys came out here, I'm going to bring them all up, give them each a minute to tell you about themselves. Hey, if there was a month to run a second over. No, I'm just kidding. We're starting late, so please don't. But let's give them all a round of applause. Hey, we need a favor from you guys, actually, right before they start. Because this video doesn't look right because there's so many gaps in front of the camera. So could you guys that are behind the camera all move up a row, please, or two? Carol Ann, I know you need to sneak out, so you're good. But everyone else, come on up, come on up, come on up. Come on up. No one's going to bite. You're making Dave's shots look bad. And Dave's amazing at what he does. Which, by the way, if you ever need video production, audio production, live audio, streaming, video recaps of an event, photography of events, or you need a world-class saxophone player for one of your events, let's give a giant round of applause, since we had a little second to do it, for Dave Stewart, D. Stewart Productions. That's who you should give a call to, and his crew as well. They're editing this thing on the fly with 4 cameras, so I just think, if you ever watch, how many of you guys have watched our recaps? They're like really badass. Y'all probably don't realize like the caliber of video production that's done in these little rooms. So anyway, are we good now, Dave? All right, thanks for moving. Jocelyn, go ahead and kick us off.
All right. Good morning, and congratulations for showing up today. This is awesome. So I'm Jocelyn. I'm with Home First Lending. We are 20 years in business. We are your local hometown lender. A lot of people ask me, and this is really fitting for you guys to show up today, who are the top buyers in the market today? It is investors, so you're in the right spot, right? When it comes to lending, we are your one-stop shop for fix and flip loans. We have the #1 product in the market. I'm talking 10% down. I'm talking 100% rehab. No income verification, no asset verification, and no appraisal. If you can beat that, go to somebody else, but you can't. So come right now to me, okay? Home First Lending, Jocelyn Christensen. Reach out to us. We're in the back corner. I've got flyers for you guys. Thanks for showing up today, guys.
Hello? Okay, good. We're on. I didn't have to push any buttons today. All right, I'm Mike with Central Florida Building Inspectors. We provide coast-to-coast building inspection in commercial and residential spheres. We have 22 inspectors. But now, what and how is that relevant to what we're talking about today? We're going to be able to come in and give you the baseline of what's going on and what's wrong so that you know what you're going to be spending, what you're going to need to rehab it, and what your ROI and what you're going to be able to make. And now that isn't just in the fix and flip market or looking to upsell, even conventional listings that are out there now, getting in and knowing what they can do ahead of time to add value, because a lot of people are still thinking that this market's, oh, we can go on the market at X. No, because you're not like your neighbor's house that has all these renovations. So sometimes a pre-listing inspection can give them this bullet list of, hey, maybe you make a couple of tweaks here and there and you can bring your value up. So again, Mike with Central Florida Building Inspectors.
Good morning, everyone. Kurt Kramer with Sorensen Moving and Storage. We're a Mayflower van line agent. I handle all things on the residential side of the business. So local moving, interstate moving, international moving, decluttering, storage, anything residential, I can handle that. We also have an office division, so we move offices as well. So if you have any clients or you're moving yourself, come see me in the back corner. I'd love to chat more and give you some information. Thank you.
Hello, hello. I feel like I'm with my friends and family here.
Sorry, guys. That's my fault. My bad.
Okay, Monica with Assured Partners Insurance. We're an insurance brokerage out of Lake Mary. We do all things insurance. I'm coming to you today with a really good nugget. Insurance rates are going down. So if you are finding that you are having issues getting insurance secured, we have 8 new insurance companies that came into the state of Florida just this past 12 months. They have open eligibility, meaning that those 10-year-old roofs that couldn't be insured maybe a year ago, we are able to help get it insured. So if you want to get the deal done, you want to get seamlessly to the closing table, then partner up with me. I have about 20 agents on my team. We do same-day quotes. If you need it any sooner or you don't care about same-day, we can maneuver through whatever challenges you have. But definitely reach out. I have cards. I'll be in the back. Thank you.
All right. We'll also give a 1, 2, 3 clap. I'll name them all right now just so we can give a quick shout out. We've got Artesian Title. We've got Scott Falls getting his team at Atlantic Bay Mortgage. We've got the team at DeVore Design, I think I mentioned earlier. Heather Hurry and the team from Jeff Mackey at Pillar to Post. Home First Lending's here, Sorensen's here, Apex Title Services, and Florida Home Photo and Blue Haven Pools. Oh, and Shea Walker Photo. We're going to give them all 1, 2, 3 clap on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. All right, y'all ready to learn something? All right. We're going to start off. Actually, I'm just going to bring them all up instead of doing an interview just to keep this thing rolling faster. So, Heather Unger is a broker at Acme Real Estate Florida. She's helped shape Florida's real estate landscape with nearly 1,500 homes sold, over $350 million in sales. She's ranked the top agents in Orlando year after year, and she blends marketing with innovation, design expertise, and her construction knowledge to deliver unmatched results to her clients. Let's give it up for Heather Unger with Acme Real Estate. Heather, you can come in. Is this chair in the right spot, guys, before we... Dave, is that chair good? All right, I think that chair is good unless he tells us to move. And if they blind you, I'll move the lights. Darrell Nunnelley, he started in real estate in 1986. He has survived many booms and busts in the industry. He became a licensed contractor in 2000 because he wanted to add remodeling to his real estate business. He started buying rental properties in the early 1990s, and now he has over 30 different rentals. He worked with Remax 200 for over 20 years as the top producers, opened his own brokerage, Vintage Realty Group. He's in downtown Winter Garden, and he recently opened Cabinet Installation Pros next door. Oh, that's pretty cool. As retail kitchen and bath remodeling service. Vintage Realty Group does over $1 million each month. I think they do a significant amount more than $1 million each month as a modest number. And they also do a good amount privately and off market. Let's give a giant round of applause for Darrell Nunnelley. Sorry, y'all. I have them in like 5 different places, so let me just close all this stuff. Next up, we've got Deanna and Cristina. 1 second, got it right here. All right. Cristina graduated from the University of Florida in building construction. She was #1 in her class. She's a licensed GC since 2009. She's a broker of ACG Homes since 2017, and she consistently ranks in the top 1% of agents in Orlando while also having $1 million plus average transaction. Let's give a giant round of applause to Cristina. And Deanna graduated from Rollins College, go Tars, as a multi-sport athlete. She's a retired firefighter paramedic from the city of Orlando. She opened her brokerage in 2007, Armel Real Estate. And so both women own their own brokerage, but they are the home girls. So basically they partner up and sell massive stuff and renovate it. Last year they sold together over $72 million in real estate, both on and off market, over $2 million in renovation and design, and they consistently have a 7-figure average transaction while ranking in the top 1%. Deanna consistently ranks in the top 25 agents in the city or something like that. And Christina's pretty close to that as well, if I'm not mistaken. And so let's give a giant round of applause to all our panelists today. All right, let's start off with this. Hopefully I didn't butcher anyone's bio, and we did good enough there. And sorry that we're blinding you guys with the lights. You guys like the lights? Is it a good touch? All right, sweet. They like the lights. So let's start off with this. Let's talk about how you got started in real estate, like what actually led to you getting started in real estate, and what does your organization look like today? Are you a team? Are you a partner? Do you have assistants? Are you a broker? That type of thing. I'll start with you, Darrell. I kind of explained yours, but... And the microphone just has a button you flick until it turns green.
Hello? Okay. It's working.
Also, guys, I should say, make sure you speak into it, because even though they can hear you, there's people online that can't hear you if you hold it too far.
All right. How we got started? Right out of high school, I was in construction with some family members, and when we would finish the house, I would help to sell the house. So that's how I got into sales, and I realized that I was terrible at construction. So headed more towards sales. And then through the years, we've partnered up with both. We've done remodeling, new construction, room additions, whatever it took to help a customer.
Awesome. And do you have a team? Are you an assistant? Anything like that?
We have 4 agents in our office, and then we have a full construction company with employees and subcontractors. So we're a full service. And we also have a kitchen and bath remodeling division in our office next door to us on Main Street in downtown Windermere.
Talk about why you opened that, but also the 4 agents, are they selling under you, or are they just at your brokerage doing their own sales?
Independent in different facets. One's into commercial strictly, another one's into apartments and multifamily. Another one is into land and development. We're starting to get more into that. And then I do residential, housing, mostly lakefronts in the Dr. Phillips Windermere Winter Garden Market. And then because through the years we've done so much renovation, we opened a kitchen and bath remodeling store where it's a true storefront. People can come in and pick granite and cabinetry and colors and flooring. It's a true retail outlet.
So you added if I'm understanding you right, you added a vertical to your business, which was the renovation remodeling, and have done it so consistently for so many years that now you have a remodeling company for kitchens and bath?
Right. When we started, it was strictly customers. If you bought a house from us or we helped you sell a house, we would get it ready through our renovation team. But now we've had so many people come to our open houses and come to our homes we've remodeled and through the network that there's a reason now to have a true renovation and kitchen and bath company.
I love it. Can y'all those of you guys that are taking notes may want to jot this down. I don't usually talk much, but I'm going to share a nugget that he mentioned without mentioning. One of my mentors, Craig De La Hoya, always said that you should generate enough leads because everyone is in two businesses. They're in the lead gen business and they're in the whatever they do, right? A doctor's in the lead gen and the doctor. A real estate agent's in the lead gen and the actually selling houses. Does that make sense? And he said you should generate enough leads that whatever you refer out, you could make a living off the referrals on. So what does that mean? He's saying you should generate enough leads that you refer enough business to agents in other states or this other company like your remodeling business or whatever the vertical is. You should generate so many leads that not only do you need to fill your pipeline, but you need to fill your pipeline so well that your overflow fuels a business that could pay all your bills. Does that make sense? Just a little nugget that I thought I'd mention there because you made me think of it. Darrell, anything else you want to share about the remodeling thing before we keep going? I just felt like we might as well press on it since you mentioned it.
I'm good. I'm sure we'll get to it.
Love it. All right, Cristina, let's talk about how you got in the business and what it looks like today.
Hi. Well, I started with a degree in construction, so my first job out of college was Walt Disney Imagineering.
And if you could hold that closer to you.
Oh, okay.
Just in case.
Sorry, I'm a little nervous.
No, you're golden.
So I worked on the resort development team at Disney, at the Imagineering. And then I got married and started a family, so I joined my husband's family business. He's a cast-in-place concrete contractor, and we traveled a little bit. But I always knew that I wanted to do something for myself. So in 2017, I took the real estate exam, and I just love houses. I love what I do, and now I have the best business partner, Deanna. We actually met, she was the list agent for the house I bought. So we're neighbors, best friends, and business partners, and our business model is primarily real estate, but we do design and construction. They don't always go hand in hand. Like sometimes we just do design or furniture packages for people. Sometimes we do the real estate, which leads to design. Sometimes we partner with other GCs where we just do the design, and then sometimes we do all of it, but we can do them independently.
But you're your own brokerage, correct?
Yes.
Explain to them the partnership because you're both your own brokerage, and it sounds like you're selling together and separately. Is that fair?
We do everything together now, but we each started in our own brokerage, so we just decided one day we said, you know what, we're going to work together. So when I bought my house, I had a 9-hour inspection. Sorry, Deanna. Just one inspector showed up, and so we had breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And we instantly became friends, and we do a lot of work in our community, so we were doing a lot of transactions on opposite sides, and so we decided to work together, but we both had our own brokerages, so we just decided to keep it that way, but we call ourselves the homegirls together.
It's pretty cool when you're trying to parse their data, because I don't even have direct MLS access, so I only see snapshots, but it's funny because you'll see at least 25 to 30 under each of their names separately, but then there's another 25 or 30 off market, and you keep picking another 20 here and 30 there, and this is a lot of real estate. And we're not even getting into the whole GC and remodeling and all that. But talk about how you, I gotta at least ask, how do you market the GC side of your business?
So it's all really referral based and repeat clients. We live in a really small, tight-knit community, so it just started one at a time. And that's actually on our goals every year. We're like, we need to get our website together. We need to post. We need to do all these things that we don't do. So we need to learn from everybody else how to do that better. But
Yeah.
luckily, we've had.
Come to another session. We'll probably have one of those. Deanna, how about you? How'd you get in the business? And obviously we kind of know what it looks like, but let's hear your side of the story.
I graduated from Rollins College. I read a book my junior year called God Bless You, Mr. Rosewater by Kurt Vonnegut Jr., and that made me realize I want to be a firefighter. Disappointed my whole family. Degree from Rollins and became a firefighter. I had a career-ending back injury in 2007, and I immediately got my real estate license. I had a family friend who was the nation's leading golf course broker. She started out as an auctioneer, found a niche, and it was selling golf courses. So she was like another mother to me, and I said, hey, Hilda, can I sell golf courses with you? I'm not a firefighter anymore. So she allowed me to do that. And early on, my husband at the time, now my ex-husband, he encouraged me to get into the residential component because I like people, I care, and I want to make a difference. I made a difference as a paramedic firefighter, and I really feel like we make a difference now in real estate. We are changing lives, and everybody has a story. So we've helped people who've won the lottery and it's positive, or we've helped people who have had a death in the family or divorce or what have you. So we are impacting the world essentially with real estate, and that's what means so much to us. And I'm just in the business for the right reasons, and that's to make a difference, and pretty much it.
How did you get into the renovation remodeling side of it?
So Cristina is a general contractor. She actually went to UF for building construction, and you said it earlier, but she graduated #1 in her class in college in a male-dominated profession, so I'm always proud to say that. But she pretty much is the hub for our design and construction component. She does all the Excel spreadsheets, does all the estimating, and she'll say, well, what do you think? You think this is good, $1,500 for this? And I go, yeah, that's good.
Don't let her fool you.
So-
She
Was it
does.
something you-
We do it equally. Don't let
Was
her
it something you always wanted to add, or was it
Yes.
just something that when you partnered with Cristina, you decided to add?
Yeah, so when we partnered, the whole goal was to do real estate design and construction. I have construction background from being a firefighter and having to study building construction. And then she has the background of being a GC, but we both have just a natural knack for interior design. It's just a knack, and it's something we really are passionate about, and that's kind of how it came together.
Love it. Hey, Dave, if you can try to shut that down. It's blowing like crazy. Oh, okay.
It's
All
a,
right,
it's
we'll
a
leave it.
nice
We'll leave it.
effect.
If it's nice, then we'll leave it. It's like his hair is constantly blowing.
Can I sit there?
All right, Heather, how about you? Tell the backstory of how you got into real estate and the GC side.
So I actually had my GC license, not in the state of Florida, but in the state of Michigan. I got that in early 2000. I took the test. You never want me to build you anything. I can't cut a straight line to save my life, but I can take the test and I understand construction. My father was a builder, so I grew up kind of in that construction from day one. But I lived in Florida when I got my license in Michigan, and I thought to myself, well, what am I going to do? I don't want to live in Michigan. It's too cold here. I don't want to be here, so what do I do in Florida when I go back home? And real estate came to mind about 21 years ago. I thought this is a great way of marrying my background in construction with my love of houses. And so I became a realtor in 2004. I opened my own brokerage. I became a broker in 2012, and I opened Lemon Tree Realty. I had that for about 9 years, and then I met my now partner, Courtney Polis, who has Acme Real Estate in LA, and we merged our companies together and became Acme Real Estate Florida. So we have 3 offices, 2 in LA and 1 here in Orlando. So with my GC background, I didn't want to be a GC in Florida because in Florida there's too much insurance and a lot of other issues. But I do have the knowledge and the skills, and so one of the things that I got into in 2008 was the REO field. So I work with a lot of the banks, and as you might know, a lot of the banks will actually renovate their properties. So with my GC background, I was able to marry that with real estate and help the banks renovate these properties instead of selling them to all the investors, because they realized, what are we doing by giving these houses away and letting the investors make the profit? We can do this ourselves. I started managing all of their REO portfolios, helping them renovate the properties, and then turning around and selling them for a profit instead. So, but Acme Real Estate is a small boutique brokerage. We have 10 agents. Each agent is traditional themselves. Reagan, who's sitting back there, does work with me on the REO properties, so we do partner on that. But our whole thing is a curated lifestyle. go. Okay. So curated marketing, curated lifestyle. So when we meet with clients, we basically sit down with them and we feel that every client, no matter what type of house that they have, can be better. So whether that's sitting down with them and going through and saying we need to paint, change out flooring, paint cabinets, renovate a house. I have a client that let me go to town with their property recently. So it basically came in, said, look, you could sell your house as is right now. Same thing I do with the banks. If you sell it right now as is, this is what you're getting. If you let me come in here, we're going to spend XYZ on the property, we're going to renovate it, we're going to turn around, put it back on the market, and this is what you're going to get for it instead. So that's the bulk of what my business is. I do work with some clients identifying tear down lots because I do a lot in downtown Orlando, College Park, kind of Winter Park area, where we have a lot of properties that are deemed tear downs and then doing new construction builds. So I work with a lot of smaller boutique builders and helping clients come up with their dream home.
Love it. I feel like there were so many nuggets just in hearing some of these stories. Would y'all agree? I want to ask you about something that you just said, though, which was you're not currently actively a GC, correct? But you have the GC background and the skill set. I'm going to ask all of you about what if you didn't. But what I wanted to see, you said that you are primarily selling people options on what it would look like. Where are you getting the information? Like if somebody wanted to start offering what they think a home would be worth, where would they go to figure this out?
So I think first thing is you have to have a relationship with a general contractor or a builder or a good handyman. Don't get mad at me for saying that. Some of the stuff can be done by a handyman, not a GC. But I think you need to have a good relationship with somebody and walk through some of these properties with them and say, hey, if we were to do XYZ, like you're going to put new kitchen in here, new floors, 2,000 square feet, paint, do all this, what would it cost to do that? Have a general idea of what type of finishes you want to put into the house and get an idea of what that's going to cost. So you need to have somebody, if you don't have the knowledge, you need somebody on your team that has that understanding and knowledge to put together for you. So that way when you're going to a client who might be selling or somebody who might be buying, you can say, okay, this is the market value with the house the way it is. This is what a contractor says a 2,000 square foot house with all these things being done to it is going to cost. And then you can come up with your ARV value afterwards. But it's really important that if you don't have that information and knowledge yourself, that you have somebody that you've partnered with that does have that information. And maybe find a newer contractor, somebody who doesn't do as much, because they're going to be more willing to go out with you and spend a little bit of time, putting together these numbers. And for the most part, you're going to have a very similar level of finishes when you're doing these either fix and flips, or for your clients, you're going to have a similar level of flooring finish, cabinets. So it's going to become repetitive, and you'll have an idea, okay, based off of this square footage, it might be $7 a square feet for floor to take it out and put it down. That's kind of how you build it.
Love it. You're already sort of answering this, so I'm going to go down to Darrell and just run down here. For the agents in the room, because they're hearing, three of you are GCs and one of you's partnered with a GC, what would the first step be if they wanted to expand their business and start to get involved in remodeling and renovations? Like, what would they do first, and what would they pitch to? Like, where would they find the GCs and the people, and what would the conversation look like?
It's according to what direction you want to go or how deep you want to get into it. For most of us selling real estate, you're putting lipstick on the pig to get it to look better, to get good pictures, to get it sold. You're not necessarily renovating it. Brand new kitchen, brand new bath, brand new flooring. Most sellers aren't willing to give you that type of budget anyways. It's almost impossible for me to go to a seller and say, give me $100 grand and I'll bling your house out and I'll make you 200 grand or whatever the number is, because there is no guarantee. But I can paint, I can clean up, I can treat the landscape, I can get it looking better for in the 15 to 20 grand range, give them a little bang for their buck, and none of that is permitted stuff. Changing out outlets from toggles to Decora, even though it's electrical, it's not a permittable item. But if you start moving walls and start doing major renovation, you're going to need permits. We've had some people where they want to do the owner, they're really control freaks, and they want to do owner permits, owner builder, and that's fine. And my subs will work directly with them, but they don't get the buying power, they don't get the control that we can offer as a GC. But you don't have to be a GC to offer another level of service to your customers. You just have to have an eye for what will sell at the lowest cost possible that you can put the seller through. If it's a vacant house, it's going to be easier to talk them into it. If it's a occupied house with dogs and kids, you can almost forget a major renovation or anything substantial.
Where would you recommend they start? And how do you explain in listing appointments or conversations, like where and how do you explain your capabilities?
For you guys to start, it would be show your customer a home that has sold that has been renovated or is a newer construction, and show them what the public wants to buy. If they're selling a home that looks like a little castle that was really popular back in the early 2000s, it's not popular today. It's just not. You can't have the heavy iron stuff, the dark wood flooring. Everybody wants the new, the whiter planks, the lighter colors, more of a contemporary modern look. The house exterior doesn't necessarily have to be contemporary modern, but the interior does need to feel fresh and youthful.
Say that one part one more time, because I feel like that was a nugget right there. Just repeat what you just said.
The interior needs to be fresh and contemporary. I tell my customers, go through Toll Brothers, Taylor Morrison, Element, go through some of the local builders that are doing a nice product in the $1.5 million and up range, and you'll see what the customers are wanting. Make your house look as close to that as possible based on your budget. And if you can do that, you'll have a sellable product.
Did I hear you say the inside is more important than the outside?
It is. I mean, the outside has to be nice, but you can have a very tasteful Mediterranean exterior, but come in to a really contemporary, modern feeling interior. Interiors are very easy to change. They can be almost anything. Hard to change an exterior. If it's got a red barrel tile roof, it's a Mediterranean house. Don't try to make it a modern flat roof house, because it's not. I see a lot of people where they'll paint the house white, paint the roof black. That does help, but it's still a Mediterranean house with the heavy stucco, and it is what it is.
Got it. Cristina, let's talk about how you recommend they get started if they wanted to add things or start understanding what they should be packaging or adding on. Or
I think one of the things that we're seeing a lot now or lately, houses, we go to these showings and like beds aren't made, like clean houses sell. So decluttering, cleaning, and then like Darrell said, the paint, and it's all the little things that add up. And I mean, I like to focus on the inside, but Deanna always likes a clean garage. So, I mean, it's the whole package. It's everything. So, just partnering, getting to know a painter that you can call and say, hey, can you come and touch up these walls for us? Just getting it ready to show.
Deanna, talk about your response, but also why clean garage?
I think every space matters. Sometimes you go through this beautiful house and then you get into the garage and it's a pigsty. And so I think that a clean garage is a happy garage. And mine, you can eat off the floor. It's a really happy space.
It's amazing.
We all go through our garage to get home. Most of us do. But I just think that it's the devil is in the details, and that's another detail. It's another space and another room, and you want it to be 100% and not to neglect that space.
So what's the conversation look like with a seller who's keeps it pigsty or has junk everywhere?
It's not good.
Personally, like what?
The
Can you
truth
walk us
hurts.
through how it sounds or what you'd say to somebody?
Yeah, I mean, most of the time to make a garage look nice, it has to be vacant. So, especially when people are considering selling, they're transitioning and filling that garage. But if it's possible, it's nice to get that space cleaned up as well. I mean, if you clean the entire home inside, it only makes sense to clean the garage and not see dirt and cobwebs and oil stains on the floor. We'll roll the floor. If we paint, we'll do all of that, whatever it takes to make it look nice.
Are you pulling in storage pods and stuff and removing all their stuff? And
We have a little trailer.
yeah. So the answer is yes. All right, Heather.
What was the question?
I was like, actually, I think you sort of answered this, but how would they go about assembling their team and adding on services?
I want to say something that Darrell said about lipstick on a pig. If you're starting this, do not do the basic white, the basic paint, the grayish. Buyers walk into this, they smell investor from a mile away, and they will automatically discount your house just because they thought a cheap investor came in here. So if you're going to do the work, do it right. Look on Pinterest, look to California, look for ideas outside of the city of Orlando. for how you're going to design the house. Pick colors, more of a warm white for your walls. You can even go back to oak flooring. That's coming back now, but you can do white oak. Just don't make it look cheap. You can find cheaper materials that look nice, put a little bit of color into the house, because you're not going to get the ARV from the home if you don't do those things. Because like I said, buyers walk in and they can smell it from a mile away and they don't want it, and your property's going to sit and you're going to wonder why I did all this stuff new and nobody's buying it. So make sure if you're going to do it, you're putting in stuff that people want. Again, putting your team together, find yourself a good GC, handyman, reach out to painters, just take them into properties that need work and ask them, what would you charge for this? Start building your portfolio, start building people that you would work with, what they're going to charge, so you have those numbers yourself.
How about inspectors?
Inspectors are good too. So, I mean, you should have your inspector team, if you're working with a seller, like with sellers that we have. The other thing is a loan officer is going to be very important, but I guess we'll probably get into that in a little. We're going to get into something like that about
Renovation loans?
Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
So,
I guess we might as well.
So you need to have a lender that specializes in reno loans, construction perm loans. Also, if they do bridge loans, because we all know that it's hard to sell a house with a seller in it sometimes, or that you can't do the work that you want to do with a seller in there. If you can get them on the bridge loan program, get that seller into the next house that they want to be into. That way they're in there, then you can come in with your team afterwards, get that house ready, it's vacant, you can stage it, and you can get it on the market versus having to deal with the seller in there. So your lender is another very important part of your team, and you need to make sure that they have the programs that you're looking for. But pre-inspection is good if you have the seller on a renovation house. That way you can find all the little details, whether it's electrical, if it's an older home, plumbing, things that you may run into that you may not see on the surface other than the cosmetic stuff. You want to make the house financeable and insurable. So,
Darrell had said something about how it's difficult to sell somebody on putting money into the home before they list it. Do you have the same perspective, and has that been your experience? And if not, how have you handled it?
For the most part, it's hard when somebody's living in there to have them do that stuff, but I've honestly had a pretty easy time with it. But again, I'm used to dealing with banks. I'm used to working with them, and I have a very good, again, 3-point pricing. Like, this is your as is. You do absolutely nothing to this house. You can leave all your crap in here, whatever. This is the value of the house. Because basically when you're doing that, you're pricing it below market value. You're pricing it to add in when an investor is looking for a return on their investment once they put time and money into it. So your price is here. And then you have the, hey, let's get this house, basically ready, cleaned up, tidied, all that other stuff. This is your kind of as-is value. And again, I'm very confident in my ability to kind of price out a construction renovation project. But again, when I'm going into this, I'm going in of how can we add value to the house, not how can we just update painting and light fixtures, because that's really not adding value. It's just making the house more marketable. So you're not adding value to it. So again, if I'm going into some of the older College Park houses, I'm sitting down with my clients. I'm like, look, we just went out and looked at houses. You see what's on the market. You see what you're willing to pay for and what you're not willing to pay for. So if you want that same thing for your house, for on the sell side, these are the things that we have to do to get your house there. So a lot of times I do offer where I finance it for them. So I will handle the renovation costs. I will handle everything for them. I'll handle the contractors. I manage everything. I pay for everything, and then we get paid at closing. If the house doesn't close, then we have a whole different situation. But for the most part, all the homes get sold. Also, the fact that they're not having to put any money out of pocket is a lot easier conversation for a lot of these people. And some people don't have that option, but a lot of people can get business lines of credit. But just be very careful when you are spending your own money and doing these things about getting the house sold and having contracts up front that if something does happen, the house doesn't sell or they try to back out, that you can get your money back out. But you can always get a business line of credit, and that's how you can kind of bankroll the construction costs and things like that if you want to offer that to your clients. But because I take care of everything, generally speaking, I don't have as hard of a time getting them to agree with me. And I've shown them what we've done. And over the past 18 years of doing REOs and fix and flipping them for them,
Understood. Deanna, do you want to add the strategy or how you present the stuff, or what you agree with, or how you package the stuff? I see you nodding, so
I think the 3-point pricing, that's kind of what we do, as is, just fix it up, and if you're going to put X amount of dollars into it, this is what you can get back. But I really like the 3-point pricing, how you presented that, and that's what we do. And then the other thing is just, if you do want to get into this in some way, shape, or form, partner with each vendor. Like find a good painter, a go-to, that can come and quote the inside job, and you're going to get used to pricing based on the size of the house. So down the road, you can tell someone, yeah, it's going to be about $8,000 to paint the inside of this house. Partner with a cabinet guy. You know, if people want to do a reno on a bathroom or a kitchen, your cabinet guy is going to be able to come by and give you some numbers. So that's pretty much, you know, in a granite or a stone guy. So a painter, cabinet, and countertops, and obviously an electrician, having that, and a plumber. But to be able to have a good handle on offering this kind of insight to a buyer who wants to do renovations, I would say create some partners in those few categories.
Hey, Darrell, would you partner with these people for kitchen and bath and stuff like that?
Would I partner with these
Yeah,
people?
should they call you for?
Certainly. We've got a good team.
You have people that'll go out and help
Yeah.
with the quoting and
Yeah,
stuff like that.
we definitely know how to give a quote. And a pre-sale inspection, pre-listing inspection it should be mandatory. Yeah, we all should be forcing, or if not even paying for it ourselves, to get the house inspected, because there's nothing worse than finding rat poo in the attic at the buyer's inspection when you've had months to alleviate that problem at wholesale pricing or convenient pricing, handyman pricing, and then you're at the end forced to pay a premium to get it done or do more than you really needed to do to keep a buyer in the deal. And a lot of buyers right now are scared. You know, they're first-time buyers. I'm dealing with a lot of younger, I've been in the business forever, so I'm starting to get kids that I sold their parents a home 20, 30 years ago. Now these kids have families and they're buying their first home. They're scared to death. They're coming out of, you know, $1 million, $2 million house without their personal suite was their bedroom into what they can afford, which is nowhere near the lifestyle they had. And they're scared. And the payments, you know, are ridiculous. They're nearly half of their annual income, their monthly income. And they're 6-7%, whereas, you know, a few of our customers, as you know, probably have 3% loans. It's hard to make somebody move when they've got a 3% loan going into today's market. So there's a lot of things we can do to lower the pressure as a professional realtor who is either going to be your own contractor or partner up with somebody. But a pre-listing inspection has saved me so many deals.
Tell me about who pays for it.
I try to get the seller to pay for it. I explain to them that you're going to spend about $1,000, $700 to $1,000 to have a really thorough inspection that's most time transferable as far as 4 points and wind mitigation. The inspectors will usually transfer that to the new buyer for little or no money because it's only a month or two old. But a home inspection, you just find things that you're not going to find as a realtor walking through. You know, bath fans that don't work. You know, not all of us go into a bathroom at listing and flip on the switch and listen for a fan. And there's little silly things like that, and wood rot, and every house I sell that has a side people door is usually rotted out. The frame will be rotted out, the door, you know, you can see daylight through it. But they haven't opened that door probably since the day they move into the house. So to them, it's out of sight, out of mind, no big value. To a new buyer, it's $500, $1,000 problem based on if they go with a fiberglass door, fiberglass frame, and it's a project. And in their head, they're saying...
And a red flag.
And it's a red
makes
flag.
them look for more.
And it's a red flag, and it's saying, and to a buyer, it's saying they didn't care enough about this house to fix that problem. What else are they not caring about, or what else are they hiding that I'm going to have to pay money to find and then be scared because I found it? So anyways, we do that, and I've fronted the money, and you know, as part of the deal, but most of the time the sellers will pay for it because you can show them value.
So what I heard was every listing?
I do.
It's
Every
something
listing.
you always do?
Yeah, I don't even take a listing anymore without a pre-inspection.
How about the three of you? Do you do the same? I'm seeing Deanna nod. Cristina, Heather, do you do pre-listing inspections?
For the most part, most of the banks will too. However, if you do not plan on making any repairs to that property, if you get a home inspection, you now have to disclose anything that you found on that. So sometimes it's better not to have a home inspection. If you don't plan on making any repairs, because then you don't know. But for the most part, for my seller-occupied properties, I try to have them do a pre-inspection.
And would you guys agree? I would think that this would actually be a lead generation strategy for your other business. Is that fair? because when you do a pre-listing inspection, they find things that someone has to fix, and then you're offering to fix them, or?
We definitely fix them, but what the sellers find is I may have a handyman that's on my payroll, or I keep him so busy that I may get him for $20 an hour, and I've got literally weeks and weeks and weeks of work for him. So to him, he's getting $600, $700, $800 a week, and I'm just sending him to different addresses. Try to find somebody through Nextdoor or whatever to come out and fix your problem for $100 or for $50 or for whatever. I had a guy yesterday, literally. We're getting the listing. It's in Windermere Downs. He's selling the house. The garage that's packed full of crap. I've got a dumpster. I pull the dumpster up. I have my guy at $20 an hour putting stuff in the dumpster, going through the house. In 3 hours, we've got his house cleaned out. Cost me $60 plus $400 worth of dumpster time. He could never have gotten that done for $60. So in his eyes, I'm a hero because I solved his problem, but it solidifies that listing and that 3% and all the other stuff that goes with with a listing. So it's just it becomes where you're a full service agent instead of an agent that has to hope a contractor or somebody will show up and charge you close to retail.
What type of documentation do you need? And this is also Heather's the one that kind of teed this up, but I'll ask you since we're on you. What kind of documentation do you guys need, or what kind of contracts do you need to make sure that this works out for you in the end?
It's according to how aggressive it is. If it's something as simple as like yesterday, there is no contract. It's just a handshake and a text saying we'll take care of it for you. Thanks for your business. But if it's $25,000, $30,000 worth of renovations, which I'm going through right now in a house in Marina Bay, it's a full contract. And it's a lien against the house, because if they don't sell the house or they, for some reason, I've had this happen, where 3 months, 4 months, 5 months goes by, you lose the listing, and then they say, well, we really like what you did, we're just going to stay here. So now you've beautified their home that they had overpriced anyway. So I've had that happen. So we get liens, and we get paid.
Anything, does anyone want to add to that part of the paperwork question, contract stuff, anything to add on to that?
A lot of times for me with the vendors, I still try to give, because I have a couple different vendors since we do bank owns again, but for my clients, so it's not me choosing the person, so they can never come back and say, well, you told me to use this person and this person did the work. I normally have a couple different vendors of ours give us a price quote for it, and I'll say, hey, these are the price quotes I have, so pick whatever one you want, and then I'll take care of it from there. So I let the seller choose.
Love it. Anything that either of you want to add to that?
If we're getting major work done, then I have 2 or 3 bids. But if it's just painting a bedroom or something to spruce it up enough to get pictures and go forward, then I just have my go-to guy.
Got it. What's your favorite way to handle a seller's objection to saying something like, I'm not that desperate, I'm just going to rent it instead of wasting money renovating all this stuff? Anyone can start with that, whoever wants to first.
I don't know.
Just say, go ahead, rent it.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I don't know if I've ever had anybody say that.
All right, that was a question from the audience. So.
We have a property management division, so I would say, here's Janet. Have a nice day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Got it. So you're not trying to convince anyone that doesn't want to. You just,
I've given that up. If somebody doesn't want to do something, you're not going to force them, and then you're the bad guy.
Yeah.
When it doesn't go right, you're always the bad guy. If it goes right, you're just a normal guy they don't care about anyways.
Along those lines, I got a question from the audience. Will you ever walk away from a listing, and what's it take?
Sure.
Can each of you just tell us what makes you walk away, or what you look for?
The seller.
So,
If I don't like you.
Yeah.
Unrealistic price.
Yeah.
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 Now that I'm older and don't need the business as much,
Yes.
I personalities. If I've got a personality I just don't like, life's too short.
Now, I will try to find, if I know somebody else that they'd be a good fit for, I'll say, hey, Darrell, I've got this great
Yeah,
person
thanks.
for you with a wonderful personality that
Thanks.
I think you'll love.
Yeah.
all right, let's switch to lead generation. Those are the audience's questions, the last 3. What do you do to generate? Where does most of your business come from? I'll start with that, with you, Heather. Where does most of your business come from?
So-
And
I'm terrible at lead generation, but most of my business comes from word of mouth, past clients, and again, I get fed by my REOs, but that's a whole networking and its process that I've maintained over 18 years. But most of it's just word of mouth and referrals and repeat business.
can I ask you about 2 of those strategies? Let's talk about REO. like how would someone builds that? Actually, let's start with that. How does someone build an REO business?
It's a good question today. So when I got into it, a lot of the banks held the assets. So Wells Fargo, Bank of America, Wachovia, BB&T, all of them had the assets themselves in the bank, and you would get in with either a loan officer or potentially one of their title people, and you slowly kind of got pulled into that world or whatever. I started with BB&T Bank. They were a smaller bank, and I was able to find my way in, and then it just kind of snowballs from there. But in today's REO landscape, most of the banks do not hold their assets anymore. So Wells Fargo does not hold their asset, Bank of America does not. They're all held by hedge funds. The hedge funds are much harder to find. A lot of my asset managers that worked for the banks went over to the hedge funds. So maintaining the relationships, they just bring you with you wherever they go.
Is there a hedge fund manager convention or association, or like where do you meet people that are in that space?
I don't meet people. That's I literally, the relationships, I don't have anything new. It's what I've maintained over 18 years. I am not somebody who likes to go and network. I don't like talking to people. So for me, it's not finding new clients. It's just maintaining the relationships that I have. And then sometimes they'll reach out to me because they found me through another asset manager or from something that we've posted or whatever, and then that's how I may get a new client. But most of my clients have been asset managers for a very long time that I worked with at Bank of America or Wells Fargo, and then when they went over to these hedge funds companies, they just took me with them.
So let me flip it. Let's talk about your repeat business then. What do you do to keep in touch with your sphere and to stay in touch to keep generating repeat business and referrals?
I don't. I'm really bad at that. I do a lot more video now than I used to, so a lot of people do see me on Instagram now that are my past clients, so that kind of stays in front of them. A lot of what I do is in College Park, which is where I live, so it's a lot of my neighbors, or my neighbor knows, somebody else in the neighborhood, especially in College Park. It's very incestuous. We all know one another. So it's, hey, Heather did this for me or whatever, and they're like, oh, I heard that you can do this. And, also because it's an older area, there are a lot of people that unfortunately pass away that have owned homes forever. Their kids now get the properties, and again, they saw our signs up, or that they've, heard from other neighbors the things that I've done helping them. So it's just, and I have a friend network
And I'm
there.
assuming you're involved in like the local College Park events and other things like that sometimes, or have been.
Not really.
Not really? Hey.
I am starting a new column with them, so in the community paper.
How about OBJ? I've seen you in things like OBJ and other places like that.
If I'm in anything, it's because somebody else put me there and not because I did it myself.
Okay.
So I try to be a recluse, but I'm not, so.
Understood. These are great answers, honestly. Deanna, where does most of your business come from?
Our business, like hers, is referral based. I think that we put out a really good energy together. We have a good synergy. We have fun. We're happy people. And we get a lot of business based on just our energy. People go, oh my gosh, I want to work with you. Oh, you should be on TV. I mean, we're both goofy. We're both awkward. But we both love what we do. And I think that putting out that positive energy it brings us business. And when you do a good job for one, then it kind of trickles into more business. So we have matching. We have a uniform that we wear, and we were going to wear it today, but it was a little too casual. We have our little homegirl shirts with our logo. So when you each wear T-shirts, it's uniformity. If only one of you wears a T-shirt, T-shirt is a little casual. So we try and always be uniform. But yeah, I was just going to say, if you're always kind to people, I mean, we can be walking through Home Goods in our homegirl shirts, and we get business that way. You girls are having so much fun. So I think it's important to always be kind to others and put out positive energy, and that brings us a lot of business just for who we are.
What other things are you doing to drive business? Because, I mean, you don't sell 30, 40, 50, 60, 75 million by accident. What other things are you pressing the gas on that people could learn from that consistently generate leads for you?
We just keep in touch with our clients. We do a lot of phone calls too. I think that's something that's kind of gone to the wayside. Everyone's so used to texting and even emailing without like a salutation and stuff. So we take the time to communicate. You can get so much more out of a conversation. So we do call all of our clients on a continual basis.
What's that look like, and what are you saying?
Just checking in, just seeing how they're doing. And also, a lot of our business is in our community. So we see a lot of our neighbors and clients at the clubhouse, at events. We play on a little tennis team, so it's just maintaining the relationships.
Are you guys farming the community or keeping in touch with your sphere or database? And if so, what's that look like?
Say it again?
Are you guys farming the community or keeping in touch with your sphere or database? And if so, what's it look like?
Yeah, I mean, we don't have like a specific marketing plan or anything. It's just all kind of organic. I don't know how else to say it except we're together a lot because we're best friends. Deanna's really a part of my family. So we do everything, we try to do everything together business-wise, but we also do things personally. And so we have a lot of the same friends and clients. So it's just pretty organic.
We send text messages. Yeah, so like every Mother's Day, every Father's Day, every holiday, we reach out to our clients, past clients, future clients, current clients, and we just reach out for no reason or some reason at all and just say, Happy Father's Day. The guys love it because the guys never get, the credit like the mothers do. But the mothers deserve more credit, just saying. But no, so we reach out not asking about business, but asking about them personally. So the personal texts take a long time, but it's hours in the day reaching out on those specific holidays, but we don't miss it. It's important.
Talk a little bit about the golf course expertise and how you market that.
I'm not really doing the golf courses anymore.
Okay.
But selling a golf course is like selling a business. You sell on the net operating income or the gross revenues. Hilda, the person that I worked with, she passed away a few years ago, so I just turned to focus on just the real estate.
Got it.
I will say one thing I do is direct mail. I do a lot of direct mail.
Understood. Also, I think we've talked about because of the background in the golf courses that you position yourself as like the expert for people that are buying homes on golf courses. Is that right? I'm not making that up, right? I was like, I feel like it. All right. Is that in your marketing, or is it just who you are?
It's just who I am.
Understood. Darrell, how about you? Where's most of your business come from?
In the community where I live, I'm in Windermere, downtown proper, and they have, when it's food trucks or farmers market, we're involved with something set up on the sidewalk. We do, like free drinks, free beer on the sidewalk, on food trucks and farmers markets. So that's always a draw, people coming for a free drink. And then we do a lot of Facebook stuff, and we've just, I don't know if this is going to work or not, but I'm going to give it a shot. We just started, literally yesterday, we started a thing called Welcome to Windermere, and it's a YouTube, Facebook compilation, and last few weeks I've been interviewing people of why did you pick Windermere to live in? 3-minute, 5-minute interviews. And then we're packaging those together for this website called Welcome to Windermere. And I'm hoping that will get traffic and people to kind of think of us as the brand of the reason if you thought of Windermere, you were moving to Windermere. Because it won't be a blatant advertisement, but it'll be sponsored by Vintage Realty and sponsored by the cabinet installation pros and our businesses. So we'll see how that works. It seems like podcasting and YouTubing is the way of the future, and the girls in the office that are much younger than I am, they're like, you've got to get on board and you got to have an Instagram, and so we'll see.
Love it. I've got only 2 more questions or so. Heather, do you have something to add?
I was just going to say, I think that's the running theme is everybody here is very organic. We don't necessarily go looking for it. The business comes to us. But I think the key is that we're all active in whatever it is that's important to us, whether that's our community, whether it's playing pickleball, whatever it is. You're very genuine, and we're very active in that. And I think regardless of, everybody has different groups of people or interests or things like that, and just become a wealth of knowledge in those places. And I think the business will all start coming to you regardless of where it comes from. It's just doing things organically.
Love it.
Yeah.
Anything else to add to that before I keep going? I want to talk, since we can't talk about commissions, but we can talk about margins. Can you give them an idea of whatever you're comfortable with here? Can you give them an idea of how this could impact their business or what we're talking about if they were to add this vertical and start partnering with GCs and other stuff and started offering the multi-tiered listing? Like, what's the impact on the bottom line, do you think?
It can go both ways. There's been some that I've had that were extremely profitable and really worked out well on the real estate commission side and the construction side. And we were talking briefly about it earlier. I'm not sure why this is, but I've had customers where they'll hire me to sell their $1 million, their $2 million, their $3 million house, not bat an eye, paying me 2, 3, we're not supposed to talk about it, but a big commission, which is a big dollar amount at closing. And then the renovation starts or the remodeling starts, and they'll nickel and dime. And it absolutely amazes me. I'll have a painter come in and give pick a number, $10,000 bid, and they'll say, well, can we get it for $8,000? I'm like, but the material's like $4,000. And you know, it's a 5,000, 6,000 square foot house. And it's constantly that beat down of the labor and the material, but yet they'll pay the professional agent a stupid amount of money to sell their house and not even complain about it. I cannot wrap my head around why, but I live it every day. And I think these ladies have experienced it as well. But the margins can be good, to answer your question. It's usually 20% is usually what the markup is.
So how much do you sell in an average year, would you say, Darrell, in renovation remodeling?
For remodeling, we literally are doing 3 to 4 kitchens a month on the low side, sometimes 7 or 8. Kitchens average 30 to 40,000. Some are really grand. I've got a $100,000 kitchen going right now. It's ridiculous, but it's what she wants. And but most kitchens that we do, not including appliances, because we really don't do appliances. Even though I have wholesale accounts with GE and all the dealerships, I'm real transparent when it comes to that. I find that builds a lot of credibility. So I've got a client literally right now. We're finishing up her house. They're moving in this weekend. Her kitchen, her appliance package for 2 items, her cooktop and her refrigerator, was $25,000 retail, and she's able to get it through my wholesalers for around $18,000. So she's ecstatic. She just thinks we walk on water. But we didn't do anything other than just hook her up with our rep at the dealership.
But you guys are mostly passing on.
I don't mark up stuff like that because I don't want to be obligated or liable for it. I don't mind being obligated for the cabinetry and the countertops and the normal stuff. But when it comes to appliances and dishwashers and things, I really don't want to be responsible for it. There's not enough margin that's going to make you happy. Sure. You know, when it leaks or something happens. It always happens. You know, and it never happens during the week at 12 o'clock on Tuesday. It's always Thanksgiving, Christmas. You know, it's always that way.
But if I'm hearing you right, some of these projects, there's more on the renovation than there is on the commission of the home, correct?
Yeah, and sometimes we'll get a deal where they want to sell and the pricing's not there, the timing's not right, and they'll say, you know what, if we sell this house at our, pick a number, $12,000 a year tax bill, and we move, down the road around the corner, we're going to spend $500,000, $1 million more. Our tax bill goes to $30,000 a year. Same schools, same shopping, same kids, friends. What do? Well, you renovate, and then they get a $200,000-300,000 renovation, and a really good neighborhood that'll support that.
Yeah, I mean, when you guys joked earlier about how you could renovate the property, and then they don't want to sell. It's like, if you fronted the money, I can see that stinking, but if you got paid the money, it might not be the worst thing ever either.
Yeah.
Cristina?
And we do a lot of that. So to answer your question, we probably do between $1.5 million to $1.8 million per month in gross revenue on our construction, remodeling, kitchen and bath side.
Love it.
At 10 to 20%.
So you're talking 18 mil plus a year or something like that?
Yeah, at least.
That's awesome.
And that's all outside of MLS.
Understood. Cristina?
So our business model is a little different. We just do smaller, well, sometimes bigger, but we do just a much smaller scale than that. So we did a bathroom last year for somebody, and it was $120,000 for the bathroom, the primary. So anyway, every project is a little bit different for us. Sometimes we'll do cost plus. Sometimes the client will just want to know what's the total going to be. So it really just depends on each client's needs. But we also have wholesale accounts too, and we try to typically pass along the discounts because it builds confidence. So, but some people don't care. Like some people don't want to see every line item. They just want to know what's the total going to be, when do you want to check, and that's it. But yeah, we do, it's just the two of us, so we manage everything. So last year was a really big year for us. That was a lot of renovation for two of us, plus doing the real estate side. So this year, we decided to try to focus more on real estate. But we love it. It's super rewarding to transform a space. Another thing that, Darrell kind of mentioned, for us, we always say that it kind of ruins a project when a client lives through the renovation. So we always encourage them to move out, because if they're there every day and they see it go through all the different phases, it's hard for them to come back and enjoy the space.
And on the real estate side, you don't have the deadlines and the timelines, other than maybe the day of closing, that we have in the construction side. If you tell somebody the plumber's coming Tuesday at 9 a.m., at 9:04, they are calling you. Where is the plumber? And plumbers are never on time.
It's a lot more time, the renovation, at least like in our experience, it's a lot more time and effort than it just takes a lot more time. But
Yeah.
it's very rewarding, and it's super fun. We get to be super creative, and sometimes clients just let us do whatever we want.
Love it. Deanna, did you want to add anything to that?
Just that if you do have this lane in your repertoire, it does help get listings, because if you have a listing that needs renovation, you can tell the seller, look, we can help a buyer understand that they're going to spend X amount of dollars, and we can kind of soften the blow. And it also helps with buyers that, we showed a house not too long ago, and the lady walked in and said, this needs $500,000 worth of work. And we were like, well, what do you want to do? And she said, well, I want to put on new countertops. I want to do this, this, and this. And in 10 minutes, Cristina created this Excel file with this breakdown and the timeline and everything, and it wasn't $500,000, it was like $230,000. So it gave the buyer confidence to move forward, knowing they could get the job for half of what they thought, gave the timeline, and so there's value having this knowledge.
We do have to qualify that, though, because when we give an estimate like that, we do have to say, look, it depends on what you pick. If you pick a $50 a square foot tile, that's not going to be in this budget. So you have to be kind of careful when you do that too.
Well, one thing I would piggyback on that, and as a listing agent who sells a lot of properties in older areas, it's very common for a buyer's agent to come to the house with their buyer and look around because it's going to need renovation to some level. And most buyer's agents don't have a clue. And they're nice people, but they don't have a clue. And so I try to add a little bit of experience and help bridge that gap. But what drives me nuts, and I'm sure we've all done it, and hopefully you won't ever do it again, is you go to a house, and then you go to the house the second or third time, and then that second or third time you bring a contractor, or the buyer brings a contractor to get a bid of what it's going to cost to renovate. When they don't have the property under contract, they don't have a number in their head that the seller would even consider accepting, and it's just a total waste of time for the contractors. A couple days ago, I had Victor Farina, who's a super nice guy, local contractor, extremely experienced, fantastic job he does. And these people are parading him through this $4 million house that they're wanting to remodel. And I'm thinking, they're going to offer 2.5, maybe 2.8. There's no way the seller's going to accept their offer. They've already kind of tickled me with the numbers. And poor Victor, and he's being as nice as he can. I bet he gave him an hour of his time. And needless to say, that the next morning I got an offer, and it was 2.6. So, and I said, sorry guys,
Love it. I got one last question, maybe two. Because you guys are all pretty established here and selling year after year. If I dropped you off in a brand new market and you had to move across the country and start from scratch, knowing what you know now but without any of your connections or resources, how would you rebuild your business? What would you do first? I'll start with you, Heather.
So I'd start visiting new construction because I would see what the trends are in that area. The builders are always going to do the new trends, what's exciting. So I'll have an idea of what buyers are looking for in that community. Get to know the local contractors, plumbers, vendors, things of that nature. And just really learning about whatever community I'm going to be in. And I'm very community specific. While I do sell all over Central Florida, and I mean all over, I prefer to stay community centric because where I live is what I know. It's the people I know. So I would just really get to know the community. I'd get to know the shop owners, go to the places, where are people going to eat, get their coffee, what are the schools like, and then kind of slowly start putting the team together, and then also just start looking at houses myself. And I think some of the times when you want to get into the business, maybe buy a house for yourself to fix and flip or fix and hold, because going through that process is how you're going to learn a lot of the pitfalls and the pros to doing it. And I think that's probably what I would do is I'd purchase a house myself to fix up. I'd get to know the community, and I'd start learning the different vendors in that area and the trends that they're looking for.
Love it.
Yeah, same thing. We're both very community oriented. I think that if you farm your own community, that's where the greatest value is. You're traveling the least amount of time and you're just right there. You know it, you live it, you breathe it. But also I think it's really important to put yourself out there. Put yourself on social media. Hey, I'm a real estate agent. I'd love to help you. Walking around in our homegirl shirts. I think it's important to put yourself out there. We would join the tennis team, play golf, and just get to know everybody on a personal level and let them know what we do. And I think that organically it will grow.
Go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead. I mean, I have this, it's all the same. I was going to say buy a house and go through the process the same way to get to know the trades.
That's a great question, and I don't have an answer for it, but I've been thinking about at this stage of life, having a second home or retiring, which I'll never do. But my wife wants to get a place in Treasure Island. So we've been thinking of opening a branch office there. And so I've seriously thought of how do you build a business outside of your sphere? Because I am very well connected in this geographic area, and I get a lot of referrals and a lot of repeat business. And I don't know anybody enough to build a business or say I'm going to spend thousands of dollars a month in an office in Treasure Island. So how do the people you meet, the young people that are starting, how are they growing their businesses?
That's a great question. I mean, there's a million different ways, but I think y'all have come to a bunch of sessions where they do it, but social media, in person, sponsoring events, off referrals, I mean, you name the thing. I'd ask you though, Darrell, what did you do the last 20 plus years to build the reputation and the
just grinding it out. Just grinding it out, going door to door, meeting people, open houses. I love open houses. I know most of us as agents hate them. I enjoy it. It's eye-opening for me to listen to the different age brackets that come into the homes of what they expect, what they're comparing it to, what they're looking at, what they've made offers on and got denied or got beat out. I like hearing the stories because it keeps me in touch with the marketplace.
Love it.
But I don't have any listings or any places in Treasure Island to go over there and do that.
One of the things too, I think if you're moving to a new area is seek out some agents, maybe not the top agents, but agents that are doing well and have consistently, and start talking to them, take them out, show how you can maybe add value to their team and let them pull you in to everything that way. I think that that's a really great way. And, like you're saying, Treasure Island, we recently bought a short-term rental. We built a short-term rental in Blue Ridge, Georgia. And by, again, going through that process of building a house, we learned who not to use, who to use, and then you start meeting people and you start learning things about a community. So again, it's getting in there and just actually doing the thing.
I love it. Also, I would say that I'll tell you one or two that we had shared on this stage. I know when Ken Posick first moved here from Detroit, he had a team in Detroit, but didn't really know anyone here. And the first thing he did was he traveled the state and he taught at different Keller Williams offices. Okay. So he built his own sphere of agents within the state that were sending referral business that he was marketing to now. And that probably did $8, $9, $10 million within a year in referral business. So some people it's going to, I know Miranda Katie's similar. She'll go to conferences and she'll probably refer things into other states pretty strategically. In fact, speaking of that, the 29th and 30th of September in Dallas, Texas, if you guys want to join us. We have our first national conference, RP Elevate. Shoot me a message if you want info on it, because I have half off tickets. But I'll be going to events and where you not only learn, but where you can connect when someone like you's on the stage. They come up and they're like, hey, I do this in blank city, or I do this where, and start to not just build relationships that are likely to have people in those markets, but to actually look at what are the feeder markets to where I live. So for example, in Space Coast, Dwayne Carpenter, who's coming to speak in one of our future sessions, he's a part of a brand where he knows that where they are strongest are the feeder markets to Space Coast. So he knows that he's going to get referrals from New York, New Jersey, whatever the markets are, because he's number one in that market. So there's different ways to build these national things, building local things. You could partner with someone that is local and do their open houses, or do all their renovation, and then get started. There's all sorts of ways, but I think that what I'm hearing that's in common with all of you is making sure that you're talking to people and you're having conversations and you're being an honest person and punctual and professional and all these things that all of you have as byproducts. If I asked you what have you done, Darrell, you probably wouldn't say, well, I was really honest and I had a great attitude. But that's a big part of it, and people overlook that they're honest with people, they know their stuff, they educate themselves, they're professional, they show up, and that's half of the game. Next month, the flyer's not updated, but how many of you guys learned something? Make some noise. Let's give these panelists a round of applause. Come on. All right, I have the wrong flyer up, but it's almost the right flyer. It's just missing a person, so I apologize to Jenny Dunn, who is also supposed to be on this flyer. She's on the one that's online right now, just not on the slideshow with Stockwood. But next month, we're having a really cool panel. It's going to be conversations on luxury real estate. We're going to have 4 different conversations. Jenny Dunn sold like $100 million over the last 2 or 3 years, a lot of it off market, a lot of it on. And she has almost a $2 million average transaction, both this year and last year. Michael Stewart consistently ranks in the top 25 agents in the city, as well as having a 7-figure average transaction. And Brandon Gears is new to the stage. He has been recently earned himself the moniker Mr. Winter Park. He's kind of new to the luxury real estate space. Within the last few years, broke on the scene and pretty much is selling tons of $1 million plus properties or multi-million-dollar properties. He's going to talk about how he broke into the luxury scene. And then the guy you probably don't know is Gibbs Baum. He's consistently in the top 10 agents in Brevard County. So consistently a top 10 agent in Brevard County, top agent at One Sotheby's International. In fact, coincidentally, he's number 10 on the list every year, and number 11 is his partner, Greg. So they probably rank higher if I figured out how to add them together. But anyway, they're coming out next month, and you're going to want to join us. I can't really say the link, but there should be a QR code, and there isn't. So make sure you check your emails and sign up for that one, or go to Eventbrite and sign up. Make sure you've signed up for our notifications, so every time we do an event, you can come out. Yo, one more time, give it up for all the panelists and all the sponsors. All right, come on out and join us next month. Make sure you post your photos with hashtag MasterclassCFL. Oh, and I almost forgot, thank you to PJ Crescenzo. He had to head to Philadelphia for a funeral. However, if I'm not mistaken, I thought they pulled up, hopefully I'm not wrong, there is pizza. Is there pizza? It is here, right? Blaze Pizza in the back of the room. There's only like 5-6 boxes though, so make sure you grab it while you can, because when we run out, we run out. But enjoy some pizza. Thanks for coming out. I appreciate all of y'all, and we'll see you next month.